paraphernalia. Whole blood on the floor with a lack. These fiends, they be tweaking, they get it from TT. His broke on the door with a trap. But please use the dough in the back. But please do not bow to the back. My cousin be nervous, he do it on purpose. That effing be close to his lap. Beam and the extra focus attached. King shit never float with a pack.
What's up, man? What's up? We back again. It's your boy Dre Baker, and you rocking with boxing, bars, and bullshit. Hey, as usual, man, give you an update for the regular day-to-day life, daddy shit, husband shit, working shit, 9 to 5 shit. I've been working a decent amount of hours per day. You know what I mean? It's just been pretty heavy on me. We got outages and shit like that. I do electrical work, from my side hustle. I mean, not even my side hustle, niggas talking like that. Nah, my main hustle is my electrical work, you know what I mean? 9 to 5, I do electrical work. I work in these mills and we gotta do repairs and shit like that. When they shut down, that mean that we working. So as of the last 3-4 weeks, we've been on 12-hour shifts. And if you working 9 to 5, bro, you know how that shit is. It's tedious. It's trying at times. A lot of that shit can be overbearing at times, but at other times it can be relaxing. As in, you might not be doing too much, but even not doing nothing and you sitting in there on that clock, that's doing more than you want to do. If I'm not gonna do shit, I'd rather be at the crib. I could be talking to y'all, a lot of other shit, but yeah, just giving y'all an update of what's going on with me, So I just been trying to, cope with working all these hours, taking care of the family, keeping the bills paid, keeping everything in motion. Kids about to start school, that shit coming up. That come with school clothes, that come with school shoes, that come with, you know, um, counseling, being there for your kids, giving them that one-on-one time, asking them how their day was when they get home, asking them, what's going on at school, did anybody bother them for the day? That's a day-to-day thing. And for me now, bro, like my daughter, she's 15 years old, bro, and she's learning how to drive. So I'm my day-to-day shit is me trying to figure out how I'm gonna keep sane while I'm teaching her how to drive. So we in parking lots with it. Soon we gonna be on the street. She gonna have a permit and she gonna get the license. But I don't want to be too timid on trying to teach her how to drive. I know how it felt when I was coming up, and my mom, her nerves was bad, and she didn't really want to do certain things when it came to the driving thing. My pops had to pick up that slack, and then my cousin, shout out to you, love, cuz you basically raised me. But yeah, he taught me how to drive, bro. He was giving me his car. We out here doing our thing, young age, bro. Doing shit that we shouldn't be doing. Racing on highways, picking motherfuckers up, ain't got no ills, shit like that. So me learning how to balance that, me knowing the dangers of the road, me knowing the dangers of being an adult out here. You got to drive for you got to drive for yourself. So I got to instill that in my kid, and that'll be a good conversation to talk, maybe to one of my guys, when my boy like Denzel, we had conversations like that, raising kids and shit like that. So it's like, raising your kid when you get to that age to where you got to teach them how to drive, teach them how to make money work, how money works, because all of that shit is different. You know what I mean? So, don't mean to veer off into the bullshit, but that's what this shit was about. Just trying to give y'all the raw, authentic me. Just letting y'all know what I'm doing day to day, and then we hopping into the boxing, of course, but just day to day, me talking to my daughter, me talking to my oldest versus my youngest. I got a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old, so the age difference is not too big, but it's still two different levels. So I got to talk to both of them different. But my youngest is very mature. She's my daughter. Where you look back here, you got these books here. My daughter wrote both of these books, bro. Like, she's very smart. She's very mature. She's very educated. She's very curious. And I gotta keep that curiosity going, keep that flame lit to where she's still gonna be trying to do certain things and try to be herself at all times. And I'm trying to get her in different programs, the STEM programs, building apps, whatever really sparks her interest at this point, And then my oldest, she's in band. She loves music. She loves design. She makes jewelry. She makes bracelets. She does all of these things, and a lot of that shit is just me trying to keep them focused on making that support them. Whatever they're interested in. It's good to have hobbies. It's good to have things that you do, but you still have to have some type of income, some type of revenue coming in to support what you're trying to do. So, I try to keep them abreast to that, and just keep pushing. So I'm gonna keep being a dad, bro. I'm gonna keep trying to get out this content and just want to get y'all update. But without further ado, let's get into the boxing. Mason versus Bill. Abdullah Mason, he came out, took the challenge. I know it was a late replacement. Bell stepped in, Albert Bell stepped in. They are good friends, they are sparring partners. So we thought this match was going to go a certain way, but it kind of went the opposite. So let's break this down. We got a good fight, 12-round fight. Everything was going how at first it was going how we thought it would go. Mason is putting on the pressure. Albert Bell is kind of on his back foot, but Albert Bell is a longer fighter. He has reach, he has length, so he was catching Bell, coming over with the straight, hitting him with the jab, straight hook. He was getting him off his back foot, and at first it seemed like Mason didn't know what to do, and that lasted for 6 rounds. The first 6 rounds, Albert Bell all day. We can debate how we want to about the champion. You got to beat the champ. The champion was on his front foot. He was backing him down, but as he was backing up, he was throwing punches. He landed more than Abdullah Mason landed. And I thought, at first I kind of felt like I was going to be disappointed in Mason. That's one of the best prospects that I got as far as my rankings go. He is a champion. Some people take him out of that prospect lane, but I feel like he's still a prospect. He's still somebody that's trying to come up in the game. He hasn't had too many challenges. These challenges, like the Albert Bills, maybe in the future Ryan Garcia, you got certain people that can challenge him at this level, but he's getting more competition. The Sam Noakes of the world, like that was another fight that I feel like not Bill. I feel like Abdullah Mason took too much damage in that fight. So coming out in this fight, I figured he would be more defensively sound, but I think he came in the same way. It just wasn't the same type of fighter. Like we say, boxing bars and bullshit. Styles make fights. So he came out on his front foot. He didn't take hella damage, but he took some damage that I don't think in this fight, this particular fight against Bill, could have been avoided. You are the shorter fighter, you're the shorter arm fighter, you have to get in. So sometimes you got to take some to give some. Sometimes you got to slip a punch or throw away a punch to land a punch. So I think Mason had the right game plan. Once we got into the latter rounds of the fight, the second half of the fight, the next 6 rounds, Mason turned up the gas. He started landing more to the body. He started slowing Bell down. Then he broke his nose, fractured his nose, however you want to say it. I'm not sure how bad the injury was. Prayers up to him. Hopefully he recovered well because he did put up a good fight, and I feel like he should get back better fights in the future or fights just as big as this magnitude of this fight. But at the end of the day, he lost the fight in the second 6 rounds. He let Abdullah Mason slow him down. He got shots to the body. He started getting in on the inside. But what I will say, though, Abdullah Mason does have that dog in him. We wait for these fighters to see if they have that switch, that they can flip that switch, or that mean streak, as we call it in boxing. I feel like Abdullah Mason has that. I feel like he loves to fight. He's one of them fighters that, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you harder type fighter. And I gotta agree that, Mason is ready for the challenge. He's up for the challenge. The Sam Noakes fight had me scared because he won that fight, but he did take too much damage, and I will not let up on that. He took too much damage. He fought the wrong fight, but in the end, he got the win. With this Albert Bell fight, it felt like it was becoming that type of fight, but it was still not that brutal of a fight because Bell was on his back foot. He was punching off his back foot. He was punching 2, 3 punches at a time. tying up as much as he could, because once Mason got on the inside, Bill really didn't want that pressure, so he tied up, which is boxing. So that's what you can use. You can grab. I say that all the time. So he was smart about it. His IQ was good, but at the end of the day, you can tell the pressure was too much for him. The second 6 rounds, he collapsed. But what I talked about that dog that Mason got, he came out in the last round. It was telling him he was down on the cards. His pop's giving him this crazy ass speech. Then he go in there after they telling him to go to the body the whole time. Hey, go to the body. Eventually you'll get up top. He came in and went up top immediately. Knocked him down. Boom, boom, boom. Cracked him. Got him on the ground. Once he got up, knocked him down again. Bill was grabbing on his shorts, trying to weigh him down. He fall again. Referee calls the fight. Now, this is where the controversy comes in. Now, Bill and other fighters and other people that's in boxing, people that critique boxing, they would say that the ref should have let Bill go out on his shield. Now, my immediate status that I made or tweet or whatever you want to say was that this was an early stoppage, horrible stoppage. And I think it was off first glance. But after the fight, once I'm seeing what the ref is seeing, once I'm seeing that his nose is broken, he slowed down, he barely can breathe, leaving him in there to get knocked down the third time, which may have been him being completely knocked out, I think that might have been bad. Um, if you're thinking about the fighters and their well being, I think you should maybe commend the referee for doing that. Now it was weird. I got to keep it a band. It was weird when the referee gave the crowd or whoever he looked at in the crowd, he gave him a wink when he stopped the fight. So people would say the fight fixed and all of that shit. So I don't know. I'm not gonna speak on that. All I'm gonna say is Mason got that dog in him. He went in and he stopped that man after they told him that he could be down on the cards and this could be a 50-50 fight. It was Bud Crawford-esque, if you will, because Bud Crawford, if you guys remember, when he fought Sean Porter, he come out, I believe it was round 10, don't quote me on that, but I was going for Sean Porter in this fight. I watched the fight a couple of times. I just don't remember the exact round. Whatever round he came out in, and he looked at somebody in the crowd, he's like, what, I'm down? How? Boom, he got up, locked in, and went in there and knocked Porter ass out, retired him. And that's, to me, that's still one of the craziest things that ever happened since I've been watching boxing. And I say one of because not the craziest, but one of the craziest things because Porter was a great fighter. He put up a good fight. I know Crawford just did an interview saying that he wasn't down on the cards, but somebody told him he was down, but I had him down. I had Porter winning that fight up until that point. Crawford put up a good fight. It was a good ass fight, but Porter was getting the best of Crawford in this fight. So without these knockdowns, without him having that mean streak and coming out and getting a kill, I don't know what would have happened. You leaving it to the judges at that point. And he didn't leave it to the judges, so that's why he wanted a great. So shout out to Bud Crawford. This Mason performance was like a Bud Crawford performance, and I gotta give it his kudos for that, man. Shout out to Abdullah Mason. You do have a mean streak. You do have defense. You do have offense. You're willing to go out there and get the kill. You're willing to go out there and take a risk to put on the show. You're willing to go out there and take a risk to get your punches in, even though you got a longer fighter in front of you. Sometimes you might have a bigger fighter, a better fighter. But if you're willing to go out there and take a risk and you know what you can do for the reward, much love, much shout outs to you, bro. So salute to you. I always shouted out Abdullah Mason, man. I knew he would be at this point in his career. If you go back through the videos, if you go back to what I said about him, he really is one of them guys. So I do feel like he should get more competition. I'm not saying that he's the face of boxing and all this shit they talking about with Boots now. And Boots is my guy. Like I fuck with Boots. Larry will tell you, Larry gonna talk that shit. But Boots is my guy, and I feel like he's on the road to be the face of boxing, but not yet, not just yet. This last fight, he did have one of his best competitions since he's been in boxing, but I can't say that he's the face of boxing yet. He still got to wait a little bit for that. I think Tank may still have that title, even though he's not even active. That's what shows you that he knows how to draw the fans in. He's the cash cow right now. So when Tank is fighting, people come to Vegas, they put on their best shit. This is like the Mayweather era when Tank fighting. So Boots is getting there, and I think he will be there, but he got to continue on this path. So him and Fundora should be next. We'll see if it's him and Ortiz. We talked about this last episode, so we ain't got to spend too much time on that. But I'm just saying the Masons, the Boots, the Ryan Garcias, even though I'm not a big fan of Garcia, but these are the guys that's going when they show up, people gonna come up and show up with them, show up for them. The Haneys, it's a lot of people. Shout out to my guy Vasily Lomachenko. He is back. They said he is back. He said he's out of retirement. I don't know what his first fight will be, but man, if it's in Vegas or anywhere near here, I'm gonna try to be in the building, man. So hopefully Vasily is back. Didn't like that last fight with him and Haney. Still think that he won that fight. We can debate about it a million times. We're gonna talk about it on boxing bars and bullshit a million times. But yeah, I still think he won that fight. So whatever y'all feel about that, it is what it is. We're gonna talk about it. But yeah, shout out to Abdullah Mason. You are up next. Is you, Boots. I mean, I don't see Fundora being the face of boxing. And nothing against him or how he carries himself. It's a certain swagger, it's a certain demeanor. It's all of that. It's swagger, it's demeanor, it's your fighting style, it's how you fight, it's how you deal with pressure, it's how you deal with maybe you might have got rocked, maybe you might have got dazed, maybe you are fighting a fighter that may got you this round, but what are you doing to come back? What are you doing to put the fans in the seats? It's a lot that goes to being the face of boxing. And just like Terrence Crawford said, like it comes down to you and your opponent. Who are you putting across from you to put these fans in these seats, to get these pay-per-view buys, to get these viewers, to get this YouTube shit going, all of this shit. Who are you putting across from you? Because you can fight anybody on any given night if you have a big name. But are you picking the right opponents so that you can be the next guy? That's what the difference is. So even though Mason did get challenged this fight, and Albert Bell is a good fighter, it's just like when we talk about the NBA, the guys on the bench can drop 30. The guys on the bench can get you 10 assists or 5 assists or whatever it is. These guys can come out there and do just like everybody else can do, but they're playing a role. You're in the NBA because you're a professional. So you know how to play a role. You know how to slide in this pocket and do what you need to do. You only have to play small forward. So you're going to be a small forward today, even though that's not your main position. You can shoot, you can dribble, you can drive, you can post up, but today you're a small forward. Today you're a power forward. Whatever you need to be for the day, you're professional enough to get in that pocket. So from a boxing standpoint, you have to be professional enough to get in that pocket. You got to be able to show up and show out when it's time to do that. So yeah, shout out to Abdullah Mason, and hopefully you got a prosperous career and you're gonna do what you got to do. So, but you have so far, and we supporting you, bro. Boxing bars and bullshit supporting you. So shout out to Abdullah. Next up, we got Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn. They just had to face off. This is a fight that I don't feel like too many people asked for. Um, we did get this fight, and I'm not saying that it's not something that people gonna watch because of course I'm gonna watch it. I gotta give an opinion on it. Other people gonna watch it, but nobody really asked for this fight. But I do think it's gonna be a decent fight. I do have Ryan Garcia winning, maybe by knockout. Conor Benn is a guy I could say that he's a fearless boxer. He's willing to take those risks to land his punch. But taking those risks against a Ryan Garcia may turn out to be to your detriment. And I don't feel like he should do that. I feel like this has to be more of a game plan fight. But with his attitude, with the way he trains, with the way he fights, I think he's gonna fight how he always does. And I think he might lose this fight. This will be a challenge for Ryan Garcia as well because Conor Benn is gonna throw them motherfuckers. So if Conor Benn is gonna throw them punches, you got to be ready for them punches to come. So I hope both of these guys come out ready. I guess it's a big time in the Zuffa boxing era because you got Conor Benn, that's a Zuffa boxing guy. You got Ryan Garcia, he's with Golden Boy, but he's hinting that he's not really with Golden Boy anymore. So I don't know if he's leaning towards Zuffa. But yeah, you got these collaborations going on to where At first, Zuffa boxing was this joke, but now it's turned out to be very serious. So I think we're gonna get more fights like this in the future, and I think that Conor Benn should have a game plan for this fight if he want to win. If he don't have a game plan and he gonna fight how he fights, and he's so confident that he don't think Ryan Garcia phases him, I think that's gonna be bad. So yeah, I'm hoping for a better game plan and a good fight. But either way, I think I got Ryan Garcia. If it's not a knockout, he's gonna get at least a knockdown. Let's put it that way. And then I think he'll take the fight and keep his belt. Um, so yeah, it'll be good for boxing to have this fight, and then we'll let this usher in the next fights, as far as WBC and all of these guys versus the Zuffa boxing thing. It should all be a collaboration. I know the Muhammad Ali Act changed, and that's what got all this controversy going on. But if the money's there for the fighters, man, let's let them fight. You know what I mean? And if they not gonna agree to fight, then it's gonna be trouble. You know what I mean? Because they got new guys on the roster. You know what I mean? You got the Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson just signed with Zuffa Boxing, and this kind of is on the on the road to change the game. Because if Shakur Stevenson can sign for, I don't know how much he signed for, but it's millions of dollars. If they sign Conor Benn for one or two fights for 15 million, you can only imagine what they signed Shakur Stevenson for. So if they got Shakur Stevenson on the stable, he's gonna bring in the next big fights because people want to fight Shakur. There is an issue with this though. I don't know how people feel about this. Drop your comments or whatever, but I think that it's gonna be an issue, even though we got the Ryan Garcias fighting the Conor Benns of the world. It's gonna be an issue because Shakur is such a big name that it's gonna be an issue with the WBC, WBO, all of this stuff going on with Zuffa boxing, and they're not saying Zuffa. They saying Zuffa boxing is like a pretend league, and the Zuffa belt is some bullshit. All of the shit that people got to say and the establishments got to say, I think they're not gonna want to play ball. I think they're gonna play hardball with this shit. And if they do, then where does that leave boxing? If you got all these guys signing for millions of dollars and they want to get the fights, are we gonna get the fights we want to see, or are we gonna end up seeing Shakur Stevenson versus Richard Hitchison? So I mean, Hitchison is a good fighter, and he did sign with Zuffa. But like just like this Ryan Garcia shit, nobody's asking for that fight. We looking for the Shakur versus Haney. We looking for the Shakur versus Keyshawn Davis, and Shakur versus anybody in the pound for pound list of the top fighters of the world. Because Shakur said he'll go as high as 147. So I mean, let's fight at 147, 144. If Devin Haney and Bill Haney are telling the truth and they saying that they'll fight at 144, then Shakur should make that fight. But also in the works, I've heard that Devin Haney might be signing with Zuffa Boxing. So if Devin Haney signs with Zuffa Boxing, where does that leave boxing? Because you're gonna have to if Zuffa Boxing takes all of your top fighters, you have to play ball. It's nothing else you can do because you're dealing with a situation where who are you gonna put on TV? Who are you gonna say this is the pay-per-view main event if all of your guys are with Zuffa? So just like this Ryan Garcia kind of band thing, man, y'all gonna have to play ball and we gonna have to play friendly because boxers have freedom, just like most other sports athletes have freedom now to make their decision and sign who they want to sign with, go with whatever agent they want to go with, excuse me, and go with whatever team they want to go with. So if this is the promotion team now, then we're gonna have to play ball, man. Let's put these fights on TV. I see that the Zone and PBC and all these guys are teaming up to put the fights in one location. I feel like that's good for boxing too. Anytime we come together though, I think it's good for boxing. Whether it be Zuffa, whether it be the Zone, whether it be PBC, I think all of that shit is good for boxing. So I don't think any of that should deter anybody from getting a fight. But like I said, leave your comments. I will ask if these other establishments are not willing to play ball. Where does that leave boxing? Where does that leave us in 2026, 2027 when we want these big fights and everybody's signing with a different promotion company. This promotion company is beefing with that promotion company. This Zuffa boxing, they're not validated. So WBC doesn't want their belt to be up when these two fighters fight. Should the fighters care about the belt or should they just care about the competition? Because I feel like we gonna watch the shit regardless, no matter if it's a belt at stake or not. We gonna watch it regardless. So I think again, I think the WBC, WBO, WBA, they're gonna have to play ball because the fans are gonna watch the fight because of the fighters, because of the name, because of the era we're in, the social media era, the how many followers you got, how much clout you got, all of that shit is gonna come into play because we're seeing these guys on TV. They're streaming now. The Adrian Broners, the Ryan Garcias, the Haneys, all of these guys are getting in the public eye to where when it's time for them to fight, they're gonna have a certain fan base no matter what belt is up. All we want to know is if it's a win or a loss. So where does this leave boxing, man? Comment below, talk your shit, and we'll talk about it later. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of the Shakur situation, we had a situation with Shakur Stevenson and Shannon Sharp. Now y'all saw this shit, man. It was funny as hell. Um, I kind of have a split opinion on that. Shannon Sharp, I think I don't think Shannon Sharp said anything wrong when it came to him giving his opinion on his perspective of Shakur fighting. I think Shakur took it personal. Then he tried to get personal. It's kind of like you know, trying to see who has the power in the situation. Anybody read 48 Laws of Power? And certain laws you go by, when you in some type of conversation, some type of argument. It's certain shit you can do to win, certain shit you can do to lose or concede. It's things you can do when you're in a situation where you feel like your back is against the wall. And you being an intellectual, it's certain things you can say to press a button. So Shannon feeling like he's an intellectual, a degree holder, a, a football superstar, NFL superstar. You say the word ignorant, that's gonna trigger him. You know what I mean? With Shakur, you say the word boring, that's gonna trigger him. So I think boxers shouldn't, or athletes, period, when somebody gives an opinion on something, whether it be a reporter, whether it be anything, a fan, a reporter, anybody, a podcast guy, somebody like myself, if we're giving opinions on these things based on our perspective, and we're not telling you how to box, there's no argument there. You know what I mean? Like if I say you're boring, and that's what I don't want to see, then how is that an argument? If you can't convince me that I want to see you fight based off of, you can have the most extensive knowledge in boxing, but you can't convince me that I want to see you fight based off of something that you're thinking that I'm not seeing. Oh yeah, you missing this, you missing that. I don't give a fuck because I think you're boring. And that shouldn't matter to you because if you know who you are and you know what type of weight you hold, why does that matter? Now, if I said you're boring, you should start jabbing more. Maybe you should start doing 1, 2, 3, hit them with combos more. I'm trying to tell you how to box now. Now we have an argument. But if I say you're boring, that's just what I feel. I could say a movie is boring, and you might think it's the best movie ever. I done had situations like that. Now I'm adamant in my opinion. So I'm gonna tell you how I feel. Like, damn, bro, how you once didn't watch it in the right setting, or you weren't in the right mood. But end of the day, like shit, if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. That's what you want to see. So some people want to see knockouts, some people want to see technical boxing, some people are casuals, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are people that want to see every technical thing in boxing, the sweet science. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also nothing wrong with just giving your opinion, man. You were entitled to your opinion, and if you take it personally, then that means that's just a trigger for you. So Shakur, I don't agree with that. I think you were triggered by him saying boring, and it shouldn't be that because it is what it is, bro. If he don't like it, he don't like it. What is his opinion changing about you being a world champion, undefeated, never lost, bro? Like I mean, you really doing what you're supposed to do. So anybody giving an opinion on you, don't have to not like them. Y'all don't have to get into it. But I know the conversation started different. Shannon said what he had to say. Shakur said what he had to say. Shannon said something about something Shakur spoke on in the past, and Shakur brought this up. Now it's like, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'm gonna whoop your ass. That shit is irrelevant, bro. Like, let people talk, because talking is what keep you relevant. So no matter what they saying, negative or positive, you gonna be relevant because they talking about you, bro. So, bro, keep being great, bro. You ain't got to worry about that. And shit, anybody that got an opinion, you ain't got to worry about your opinion being judged. Because who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck if you playing a sport or not. If I got an opinion on it, I'm going to say it. And you can feel how you feel, bro. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to change my opinion based on some shit that you trying to educate me on. That's just how I feel. If I don't like watching that shit, I don't. And if my opinion moved the needle that much, then do some more interesting shit. Whatever you feel like interesting is, bro. There's too many nuances to that shit for us to judge it. So I don't think we should get too tied up into that. But like I said, yeah. Shakur, Zuffa boxing. I don't know if Haney's going to Zuffa boxing. That will change the game. We got Andy Ruiz coming back to the ring. He's lost weight. He's looking in better shape. I think he'll be I think this next fight for him will be a good tune-up for him to get back in the heavyweight conversation. Yeah, and I think the last time we saw him on a big stage was the rematch against Anthony Joshua, and that was years ago, man. So I'm ready to see him. He was a very explosive heavyweight, real reactive, real quick-witted when it comes to being in the ring, and countering punches and him being very quick for his size. So if he lost all this weight, I think, that'll do a lot for him. So, yeah, it's a lot of shit coming up, man. Again, K.Y.L.E, Vegas. I'm hoping to be there. If I can't make it, I'm going to be watching it with y'all. Ryan Garcia kind of Ben is coming up. Anthony Joshua's getting back in the ring. Tune up before he fights Tyson Fury. We got a lot of shit coming up in boxing, man. So y'all gonna be seeing a lot of me. Y'all gonna be seeing a lot of this show. And that's all we got for today, man. I gave y'all an update on life. I gave y'all an update on boxing and shit. We gonna keep it moving. The next thing y'all see from me is either another episode of this or we gonna get y'all some bars, man. I'm trying to get back in the booth, bro. It's hard to keep all of this shit up and keep all of this shit in line while working that 9 to 5 I told y'all about, while taking care of kids, while having a family and doing everything I need to do. So it's hard, but I'm gonna get that shit done. So hopefully I can give y'all an episode where I'm just talking my shit on my bar shit, because that's how I came up, that's how I was raised, man. So much love. Enjoy the shit I already got out. Enjoy the episodes I already got out. This shit will be out ASAP. And if y'all tuning in now, then it's out. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all. Again, much love. And you rocking with boxing, bars, and bullshit. Love y'all, man. Peace.
Posted up, never flow with the pack, but it's so much so on the flow in the back. King Cones wasn't rolling in that. Swisher sweets with the sober scent. Dust break apart, then we folding it back. Break apart, then we folding it back. Folding it back. Y'all niggas ain't ready. Mouth off, it get deadly. We got mouths off of that Reggie. 06, we was freshmen, freshly drowned off in that down talk. This shit sound raw, it'll catch it till your clowns off and your gown caught in that slash.